Hello, everyone. Welcome to your final week in review. Here we are at the end of the course. It just seemed like yesterday we started. Well, it almost was yesterday because I know with these 6 week courses, they go very, very fast. But I salute you. You've made it. Here we are in week 6. All right, let's talk a little bit about how we're going to be finishing up this course, getting everything done in the final week. I know some of you are looking very forward to taking a little bit of a break before classes start again on August 21st. So, what are we doing this week? This week we are in week 6, module 8. We're going to be doing a topic essay. You guys got that down. You know how to do the topic essays, right? Make sure your APA format, you got your hanging indent on your reference pages. You got all that stuff, right? All right, we've got our topic essay. We've got our learning activity. You know how to do that. We got problems and questions. Make sure you're doing whatever I say. If it's a problem, you want to do the problem. If it's a question, you want to do the question. Some of you have been doing consistently the problems all the way through the course, which is okay because the problems are the harder ones, quite frankly. At the end of each chapter, there are both questions and problems. The questions are usually the narrative definition type stuff. The problems are the math. So some of you have been doing um, all of the problems. I give you credit for it. It's harder thing to do. So, but take a look. We do have a learning activity this week. We have a final exam. So here's about the final exam. About 87, 88% of the content is information that you've already been exposed to. That's going to be on midterm 1 and 2. So go back and review those midterms. Look at that before you take the final. That's my recommendation. You don't have to, but it's in your best interest to go back and look at those. Now, midterm 2, you just got done with only basically hours ago on Sunday. So many of you took it Sunday night. It is not graded yet. I will have that graded on Tuesday by noon. So you can go in there and review that and then knock out the final. Okay? So do review those before taking the final is my personal recommendation. Not required. You could still take the course and take the final, probably do well, but I would definitely look at those. And then we have a progress journal, which you guys know how to do anyway. So the progress journal is fine. Now, so there's about what we're doing this week, kind of a standard. Now, we just got done with a grueling week last week where you had 2 modules to go. And then you had another week before that where you did another 2 modules. If you've got any cleanup, any assignments that you need to get in, okay, make sure all assignments are in by Sunday at midnight this week, Eastern Time. Sunday, midnight, Eastern Time. This week, everything needs to be in. Okay? Make sure that it's there. After that, the course closes. You can't get back into the course to submit assignments. Then hours later, I have to have your grades in. So make sure that grades will be due. They'll put on, then you can be able to access your final course grade through Empower. Many of you know that if you don't, but you can see your course grades usually within an hour after I post the grades in Empower. It is publicly available to you. That is early Monday morning that I have to get those in. So get everything in by Sunday at midnight so I can be there. Now, what I'd like you to do, if you noticed in the course, I had it earlier where that big stop sign and those stop signs in there, some things to do. All of the assignments have been graded, modules 1 through 5. Obviously, you just got done with 6 and 7. My goal is to have all of that graded by Wednesday, with the exception of the midterm that you just took, which I'm going to expedite and have graded by tomorrow noon. Then all of the rest of the stuff graded by Wednesday. Go in, start checking your grade book, looking for any missing assignments. Like, hey, I submitted that assignment. Go back, check. Did you actually put it in the Dropbox? Um, there's it happens every semester, so don't worry about it. But sometimes, students submit to the wrong Dropbox or submit the wrong assignment to the wrong Dropbox. If that's the case, then just resubmit to the correct Dropbox and let me know. Text me, let me know. Hey, Chris, I just submitted my learning activity for Module 4. Sorry, it was in the wrong Dropbox. Boom, fine. And I'll go in and grade that, okay? So let me know, as you submit anything that either was misplaced or that was late. If you just go back actually and just read kind of read the little stop sign. Again, text me if you submit to the Dropbox anything that was either missing or late. Okay, so just kind of read through there. But we're going to extend that beyond just modules 1 and 5, kind of as we go through towards the end of the week, really beyond Thursday. If there's anything missing on Thursday, that's what I would circle on my calendar, because Chris said he was going to have everything graded by Wednesday for the modules that you've just turned in, with the exclusion of module 8, because you're doing that now. But go in on Thursday and make sure everything is in there from 1 through 7, that you're all set, and then keep grinding away on module 8. If there does anything missing, unusual, text me, let me know. Okay? You submit it late, let me know. You submit it to the correct Dropbox, let me know, so I can go back in and grade. Now, I do go check every Dropbox, every quiz or final. In this case, we had 2 midterms, which were like beefy quizzes. I go back in and check for anything that might have been submitted, late. Something will always be submitted at 11:51 p.m. on Sunday. Hey, that's okay. Fair game. You can do that. I do go back in and check before I have to hit the final grade button. Make sure I've got everything graded for you. But let's say it is Monday morning and there's a missing assignment. I've looked everywhere in the course for it. I don't have time to track you down, unfortunately. So it has to be there for me to grade early Monday morning. All right, so that's a little bit about the class. I think how we're going to complete it. I want to congratulate all of you. When you think about what you've done, you have taken this textbook, which I know is difficult. You've gone through, oh boy, half of the textbook in this course. That is a lot of material. And all of the videos, all of the homework help, all of the assignments, all of the topic essays. So I congratulate you for getting through this course at this point. Definitely finish strong. You are in your final week. Now, as we remember when we started the course off, my function in this class is not to make you a CFO, Chief Financial Officer. What I wanted to do is give you a sense of awareness of finance that you're going to encounter in your day-to-day activities as a leader, a supervisor, a manager, even as a healthcare practitioner. You're going to come into contact with financial principles that are really fundamental for the operation of the institution, fundamental for your profession, for what you're doing. Well, let's say I'm a radiation therapist. How is that going to affect what I'm doing finance? Well, those fancy gamma cameras or whatever you use in radiation therapy, or Acceleron, oh boy, I used to know that. But the radiation beams that you shoot out of the linear accelerator. There you go. You want that fancy linear accelerator? Well, those don't come free. You know, as you learned, that's probably a capital purchase. It definitely is a capital purchase, to the tune of millions of dollars if you want to get a new linear accelerator. So, if you're that radiation therapist, it's linked to that, even though you may not think it's, that you don't see you don't see the cash flows, you don't see the money. It's there. And it's there in a very tangible way for you every 2 weeks. When you look at your bank statements and you look for your deposit, those cash flows are there. So finance really holds together. I like to think of it as the mortar that really holds together the bricks of healthcare, because without that, the whole system really collapses and crumbles. Imagine, I mean, are you going to come to work if you're not getting paid? If you look in your paycheck and they say, we didn't make any money this month, and I'm sorry we can't pay you. That's happened, by the way, in healthcare. And sure, you probably would come to work for a while, because you have patients to take care of. But I'm guessing you're looking for a new job right away. And you're probably calling a lawyer too to get your claim against the employer. So where's my money? You owe me money. So healthcare comes together. It's a thing that we need. Healthcare is a calling that we're brought to. But we all have families, and usually things that we have to take care of ourselves, and finances is part of that exchange that we have that we uh, um, that we have with our organizations. So it is essential for the delivery of healthcare is the financial principles which you have been introduced into this class. I know many of you, it wasn't your thing, in reading the progress journals, and that's okay. I really hope, though, that you've come away with an appreciation of it. Now, I will say there's about 10% of you who really, it is their thing. It really is something that you like. And there's a group of people who just, you know, really like the value of what it brings to an organization. Um, and you know who you are. You're the ones that did the charts and the detailed time value analysis tables, and you did your cash flows, and you really got into it. And I definitely appreciate that. I also appreciate the folks who just didn't really bite into it, but trudged on anyway. So, but for those of you that might be interested in a career in finance within healthcare, I'm going to have a little bit of more information later on this week. So stay tuned for another video where I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. All right. Well, double checking my list here. I think we are all set. Remember to get all your assignments in, check your grade books, check the course at least on Friday for any updates that we might have throughout the week. All right. That concludes the weekend review, your final weekend review for the course. And as always, thanks for watching.